Hey guys, what's going on? Rallin here, bringing you another trade video. This one's been requested by a few viewers, so I do hope it helps you guys. This is just a quick video on how I make money in the current league and some ways that you guys can make money as well, so hopefully it does help you guys. The first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is prophecies. Prophecies are a really good way to make money if you're lucky enough to find certain ones. Some of the ones I wanted to give you examples of is From the Void. This one gives you the prophecy to fight Bournemouth, and while you have the Black Heart equipped, and it turns it into the Void Heart, which is a highly sought after ring. It is very strong. The prophecy itself is worth 40 chaos, and the Void Heart is worth 50 chaos or more. Then you have one of the bigger ones, Faded Connections, which gives you a guaranteed 6 link on the next time that you use a Jeweler's Orb. This one's worth about 10x. And then for a smaller one, you have Monstrous Treasure, which is worth about 37 chaos or more, depending on the seller. The next thing that I wanted to point out is you can also make quite a good amount of money off of divination cards. You have cards such as the Fiend, which gives you a Corrupted Headhunter, which I was lucky enough to find earlier this league, which I sold for 7x and 20 chaos at the time, which now it's worth about 8x and 27 chaos. You also have other cards such as the Ethereal, which gives you a 6-link Valregalia, which is worth about 17 chaos per card. Chains That Bind, which is worth about 15 chaos per card. And the Offering, which is worth about 17 chaos per card. These are a good way to make money if you find them and you don't plan on turning them in. You can sell them to make a little bit of extra money, which I've done recently. I went through and sold a lot of divination cards and made several Exalted Orbs in just a single day. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about are maps. If there's certain maps that you don't feel that you can run or want to run, such as the Guardians, these maps are worth anywhere from 13 to 16 chaos apiece, depending on the Guardian, and the fragments range from 5 chaos to 10 chaos if you don't feel like running Shaper but you've done the Guardians. You can also sell other maps such as the Shaped Malformation, which is worth about 7 chaos, Shaped Quay, which is worth about 8 chaos, Colosseum, which is worth about 7 chaos, Core, which is worth 6 chaos. So this is just to give you a general idea on some of the maps that you can sell just to make some extra currency if you don't plan on running them. You can also sell at Ziri sets. The 4 fragments range from anywhere between 1 and 3 chaos. Currently in the league, where we sit right now in the current timeline, both Dawn and Dusk are worth about 1 chaos, Noon is worth about 2 chaos, and Midnight is worth about 3 chaos. Then moving on to the Uber at Ziri set, you have the Mortal Grief, which is worth about 2 chaos, Rage, which is worth about 3 to 5 chaos depending on the buyer or seller, Hope, which is worth about 38 chaos, and Ignorance, which is worth about 48 to 50 chaos. So if you don't plan on running Uber at Ziri, I recommend selling them rather than holding on to them. They are worth quite a bit for some of the pieces, so it's a good way to make some extra currency. I sold 2 Ignorances today, so that right there was about 2x that I made just from that alone. Next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is different types of currency. Right now, in the current time of the league, you have certain currencies such as fusings, which go for about 4 to 1. I tend to hold on to all my currencies to try to 6-link gear myself, which is pretty profitable as well. I don't sell jewelers, I turn them into fusings with the vendors, just so that I can have extra fusings to try and link. But if you wanted to sell the jewelers, they go for about 16 to 1 chaos at the current time of this video. Next are chromatic orbs. I usually tend to pick up every single red, green, blue item. Some people just pick up the smaller ones that only take up 4 slots in your inventory, but chromes are going for about 15 to 1 chaos. I've made a few X selling them myself when I did not need them. So that is a good way to make extra money if you have a lot of them and don't plan on using them. And the last one that I usually sell is Divine Orbs, which right now go for one Divine Orb goes for about 10 Chaos. So that's a good little chunk of money if you don't plan on using that as well. The next thing that I wanted to talk about were the offerings to do Uber Lab. Uber Lab is a good way to make money with the enchantments on helmets, and if you can get a good pair of boots with, like, say, Leech, those are usually worth a good amount of money. So some of the enchantments that you might want to look for are Essence Drain damage, Animate Weapon damage, Blast damage. Different ones that affect some of the top tier skills are worth quite a bit, especially if you craft it to have good stats. But if you don't want to craft it, you can usually sell a item level 84 Hubris with a good enchantment for usually around a few X, and some of them even 10X plus, depending on which enchantment you get. If you don't plan on running or farming Uber Labs, you can also just sell the offerings that you get. They go for about 4 chaos a piece. So that's a good little way to make some extra currency if you don't plan on running Uber Labs. So just keep that in mind. Next, moving on to certain items, unique items. If you decide that you want to run Shaper, some of the higher end items that are worthwhile are the Starforged two-handed sword. When they are 6 link, they are worth about 450 chaos at the current time of this video, which is about 9x, and the Dying Sun flask, which is worth about 235 chaos or more. Some of the other ones that drop kind of anywhere are the Taste of Hate, which is worth 94 chaos, which is about 1.5x or more depending on the seller. And you have certain items that are highly sought after, such as the 6-link Chavron's Wrappings. These right now are worth about 10x plus. It depends on the colors that you roll. Certain colors, if you get several off colors, might make it worth 15 to 20x, but if it's pretty generic, then it's going to be worth about 10, maybe 12x. And then if you also are brave enough to corrupt these, if you get a +1 level to socketed gems, then they are worth quite a bit more. I believe they're worth over 100x the last time that I had searched for them, just to see what they were going for. When it comes down to rare items, the certain stats that I look for are depending on the piece of gear that I'm looking at. If you're looking at boots, you want definitely to have move speed 20% or higher is usually what's most valuable, plus a good way to get resistances if you need them. If you're looking at chest pieces, I typically stick to Val Regalia's, the energy shield bases, because they are the most valuable at the current state of the game. And usually, if you can get them 6-linked, then you want to try to craft them to have at least 600 or more energy shield, making them worth a few X depending on how high the energy shield is. And if you can get a resistance or two or intelligence on it, it makes it even much more valuable. Next, with the helmets, I also stick again to energy shield bases, mostly item level 84 Hubrises. Item level 84 is what you want on pretty much anything if you're going to be crafting it, because that's how you get the tier 1 rolls for resistances, flat, and percent ES when crafting. So I usually try to get a Hubris, and I try to get over 300 energy shield if possible, with 1 or 2 resistances. If not, then I try to shoot for 500 plus, and then either craft resistances or just fill resistances somewhere else. Titanium spirit shields are the next thing that I usually look for. You can also use fossilized spirit shields, but most people are looking for titanium spirit shields these days, and just like the Hubrises, you want to shoot for 300 or more energy shield, and of course item level 84, and try to get that amount of energy shield with a resistor to intelligence, spell damage, etc. Little things like that that make the item more valuable. Then when it comes down to gloves, I usually try to work with the fingerless silk gloves for the spell damage, or sorcerer's gloves just for high energy shield and resistances. Usually with these items you want to shoot for over 150 energy shield if you can get it, with resistances, tier 1 or tier 2 resistances. Again, item level 84 if you can run the higher maps to get them. That's another good way to fill out energy shield and resistances. If you end up crafting it with a very high amount of energy shield but don't get too many resistances, then you should start looking into rings and amulets. Rings and amulets are a good way to fill out a lot of resistance and stats if you need them, such as strength, dexterity, and intelligence. This goes also for the belts. Belts are very valuable, such as the rings and amulets you want. I pick up every single ring, amulet, and belt that I find, just because they're, like I said, they're good for stats and resistances, but you can also corrupt decent belts to see if you can get +1 endurance charges. I think necklaces can get like +1 frenzy charges, +1 curses that can be applied to enemies. So those are some good things. I typically try to corrupt a lot of rings, amulets, and belts just for that, because it makes them highly valuable. If you can get a decent belt with +1 endurance charges, you can sell it for 1x or higher. Same thing with certain amulets. If you get the +1 curse, that makes them very valuable, especially if they are rolled very well. To give you an example, if you have a Eye of Cheula necklace and it's just normal, it's worth about 17 chaos. And the last time I looked, which I believe was last week or the week before that, a Eye of Cheula with +1 to curses that can be applied to enemies made it worth about 15 or 16x. So it's always worth, if you don't mind taking the chance, to corrupt certain items such as these. So to give a quick little recap, you want to make sure that you're finding item level 84 bases, which are the best ones for your rolls if you're trying to craft them, but just generally look for rares that have high resistances, high energy shield, armor, evasion, whichever piece you are looking for, and just make sure that certain items such as boots, you get move speed, which makes them more valuable. This concludes my guide on how I make currency in the current league. So I hope this did help you guys. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And you can always come check me out at twitch.tv/Rallin when I am streaming. Thanks guys, and I hope you guys have a good time trading, and hope this guide did help you.